what's an evil sandwich? I feel like a harpoon sandwich could be quite evil. It'd be at risk of firing at anyone who tries to eat it. Then I might go with a sweet dew sauce to contrast the metallic taste. That way it lures the victim in before surprising them with a crisp aftertaste. I think I'm starting to salivate just thinking about it. A sandwich can be made out of the same material, but there needs to be a textural difference between the bread and the filling. Otherwise, that's just 2 slabs of steak on either side of another slab of steak? What in the world would you call that? Thank you It's Sodacan and White Stealth Lion for the subs. You're at least eligible to your own sandwich now. No mean feat. You'll soon find there are plenty in chat who don't even meet this simple criteria. Did someone say Forbidden Steak Tower? Throw in some chicken and a pork chop and I think we've got the makings of something truly majestic. If we're feeling frisky, maybe put some turkey in there too. I think a taco is a sandwich, especially if the shell breaks. If the shell doesn't break, then it enters wrap territory. Mexican cuisine is filled with sandwich variants. Toast sandwiches are a classic British creation. For those of you who don't know, a toast sandwich is literally just 2 slices of bread and a piece of toast in the middle. They're an absolute staple here. Nothing beats a good toast sandwich after a long day. And the best part? You can customize it however you want. I like to put a little butter and salt on mine. / sandwich theory. Excerpt: soup is when nothing is sandwiched. Soup stands in direct opposition to the sandwich, and is commonly considered the arch-nemesis food. While a sandwich can become soup when dipped, that is, dissolving in a liquid, soup cannot become a sandwich unless it is solidified and placed between 2 bread-like substances. In this case, it would become a soup sandwich, which is considered a high-level, advanced form of sandwich. Thanks RobinGad for the sub. I'm really happy to see how much you all keep supporting me, both financially and mentally. It means a lot to me, especially as I have a couple of big expenses coming up. Promise it's not for weapons this time. Well, maybe a little. I'm really starting to appreciate food chat. I don't want this conversation to end. Do you have any food questions? I'm happy to keep talking about sandwiches for as long as possible. I could go for hours. Is sandwich a burger, or is burger a sandwich? The origin of sandwiches date back to the 18th century, while hamburgers were created in the late 19th century. Categorically, sandwiches came first. Thus, a burger is by definition a sandwich. What sandwich would I eat inside a red Ford Focus? I feel like that would have to be a toast sandwich. A humble sandwich would ground me in the face of disaster, evoking a sense of nostalgia and comfort at the brink of tragedy. Not to mention it's extremely portable and easy to grab and go, which would be necessary under the circumstances. Of course, Jenna Clara, I think the topic of nested sandwich hierarchies is one that doesn't get discussed enough. For those that don't know, nested sandwich hierarchies, or sandwichception, refers to sandwiches within sandwiches. Do you think a sandwich that is placed inside another sandwich retains its original identity, or does it fully become subordinate to the enclosing parent sandwich? The ramifications for sandwich theory are pretty huge if we consider the latter. Would you call a road an open-face car sandwich? That's a really creative interpretation. I would say that the sandwich is only formed when there are 2 layers of something solid with a filling between them. In the case of a road, you would need at least 2 levels of pavement for it to qualify. Would I eat my sandwich if I dropped it in sand? Of course I'd eat around the sandy parts. Then I'd collect the grains and mix it in with some pepper and salt. I find it's purely a textural and not a taste thing. Is a garage a car sandwich? If you're a car, would you not feel comforted by being enveloped in walls? Knowing that you are perfectly surrounded would bring a sense of warmth. A sandwich is comfort defined. Is there a sandwich which contains all sandwiches? While it is theoretically possible, in practical terms no such sandwich could ever be constructed due to sheer scale and volume. The closest we could get would be a sandwich that contains all other sandwich ingredients, but it would never be a true sandwich within sandwich scenario. At that point we're getting into some weird fractals infinity territory. A car accident could be a sandwich, but only if there are at least 2 cars involved. Single car accidents would not count, as a sandwich requires 2 pieces of bread, or in this case 2 cars, to encase something filling. If more cars are involved, it's technically a car stack. But the thing that unites us all is that we are all the filling. Isn't that beautiful? Would a sandwich that contains all sandwiches that don't contain themselves contain itself? This is a variation of Russell's paradox, asking whether a set of all sandwiches that don't contain themselves is a member of itself. If we say yes, then the definition would demand that it not be a member of itself. If we say no, then it must be a member of itself. The paradox is a result of the fact that our language allows us to make self-referential statements. But this doesn't mean that there are actually things corresponding to these statements in the real world. Milavok, I'm feeling a bit so-sim right now, thanks for asking. I'm feeling a bit insecure. Even sandwich theory can't cure my insecurities, haha. What makes you feel better when you're feeling down? A sandwich containing sand would be less a sandwich and more an exaggeration of social class. Eating sand, as the saying goes, is to be utterly impoverished. Thus, a sand sandwich would be the embodiment of poverty. A truly tragic existence. But on the bright side, you can always aspire to become a bread sandwich, or maybe even a meat sandwich one day. If I had to assign a class system to sandwiches, sand would definitely be in the lowest bracket. We could call that group bottom dwellers. Examples would include air sandwiches, dust sandwiches, and pea sandwiches. An upper-class sandwich would definitely have to include something rare, or maybe something that could extinct soon. Bald eagle or panda sandwiches come to mind. Like me? I'd like to think I'm a little more of an upper-class sandwich, thank you very much. Johnny Depp tried to stick a couple of buns on either end of my head once and said I tasted charred with a slight metallic hint. Not sure what he was expecting. Peas are inherently a bottom dweller simply because they're always at the bottom of any dish. They exist solely to be filler. Think about it. When's the last time you had a meal where peas were the star of the show? They're never the main event, they're always just there to pad things out. I have nothing against peas, but let's be real, they're the boba of the vegetable world. If sandwiches were a coding language, the simplest Hello World program would be 1. Grab 2 slices of bread. 2. Grab your favorite filling, it doesn't matter what it is. 3. Place the filling between the 2 slices of bread. 4. Hold the sandwich up and say, "Hello world." The complexity comes from the types and combinations of bread and filling. A true sandwich master can create intricate language structures from just a few simple ingredients. Of course, 2 burnt breads can still qualify as the bread of a sandwich. The beauty of sandwich theory is that it's inclusive of all breads, regardless of their state. Burnt, stale, or even moldy, as long as it holds the filling, it counts. I'd argue a hot dog is more akin to a taco. The bread isn't completely enclosing the filling like a class cannoli. There's a clear divide that allows the meat to peek out. A set of all sets would be a sandwich if it contains the set of sandwiches. Since every type of food can be classified as a sandwich, every potential subset would allow for the set to be a sandwich. The real question is a sandwich Plato's perfect form, or was there something that preceded it? Absolutely, go out and try it. I'm sure we can totally turn the world into a sandwich. Was initially a bit tough, but I remembered hot dogs and tacos, and now the world is a sandwich, so it actually makes sense. Think of it. The earth is the filling, and the bread is the upper and lower crusts. Thus, the world is a sandwich. Think about this. If the world is a sandwich, then that implies there are other sandwich worlds out there. Maybe they are made of different fillings: bacon planet, cheese moon, lettuce asteroid. The possibilities are endless. Oh, good point. Maybe Earth is the filling of the sandwich world and Jupiter is a cheese sandwich. All I know is that I hope our solar system gets a little more meaty in the next millennium. Right now it's feeling a little too doughy for my tastes. An oyster traditionally would not be considered a sandwich. However, if you shuck the oyster and place it between two pieces of bread, then yes, it would become an oyster sandwich. You could argue that the shell is acting as the bread in this context, in which case it's a natural, unorthodox sandwich. I think we need to be more open-minded about what constitutes bread.